Have you ever wondered if something as simple as the oil you use in your kitchen could be quietly harming your brain? Now, picture this. Every 40 seconds, someone in the United States suffers a stroke. That adds up to over 795,000 people each year. And here's the part that may surprise you: it's not always about genetics, and it's not always about aging. Sometimes the risk builds silently from the foods we eat day after day. Hi, I'm Dr. Nana, and today we're going to uncover one of the most overlooked factors in brain health: the fats hiding in your everyday meals. When people think about protecting their brain, they usually imagine crossword puzzles, memory games, or brain training apps. But the truth is, some of the most powerful protectors or the biggest destroyers are sitting right there in your pantry. That's why in this video, we'll reveal 5 harmful fats that can put your brain at serious risk, and 5 healing fats that may help keep you sharp, steady, and strong well into your golden years. But don't worry, I'm not going to give everything away all at once. Stick with me, because some of what you'll hear may surprise you. Even fats you've always believed were healthy may not be as safe as you think. And before we dive in, let me ask you, are you the type who loves learning how everyday foods affect your body? If so, drop a quick 1 in the comments. If you usually just eat whatever's convenient, type O. Either way, you're in the right place. And make sure you hit that subscribe button for Senior Health Boost, so you never miss practical, life-changing videos about protecting your brain and your body. Now, let's dig into the first dangerous fat, one that's hiding in many of America's favorite snacks. It's silently raising your risk for stroke, and you've probably eaten it this week without even realizing it. I'm talking about trans fats. You'll often find them in fried chicken, golden French fries from your favorite fast food spot, or those soft, packaged pastries that never seem to go stale. Trans fats are created when manufacturers turn liquid oils into solid fats like shortening or margarine through a process called hydrogenation. Sounds technical, right? But here's the frightening truth. These fats don't just sit quietly in your body. They trigger inflammation in your blood vessels, damage the lining of your arteries, and raise levels of bad cholesterol. Each bite is like laying the groundwork for a future stroke. A major study in the journal Neurology tracked over 1,600 older adults and found that those with higher levels of trans fats in their blood had up to a 50% higher risk of developing dementia. That's not just forgetfulness, that's your brain's wiring slowly breaking down over time. Think about it. Every time you bite into that golden brown fried food cooked in reused oil, you may be fueling the fire of inflammation in your brain and blood vessels. So, what can you do? Start by reading food labels carefully. If you see the words partially hydrogenated oils, put that product back on the shelf. And if you're craving something crunchy, choose air-fried veggies or a handful of nuts instead. You'll still enjoy the satisfying crunch without the toxic load. Now, let's move to another type of fat, one that's incredibly common in American kitchens. It makes steaks juicy, butter rich, and bacon irresistible. But while it delights your taste buds, it can quietly narrow your arteries and raise your stroke risk even higher. I'm talking about saturated fats. Saturated fats are most often found in red meat, full-fat dairy like butter and cream, lard, and tropical oils like palm oil. The problem is clear: when eaten in excess, they raise LDL cholesterol, the bad kind. Once LDL builds up, it narrows the blood vessels, limiting oxygen flow to your brain. That creates the perfect conditions for clots and strokes. In fact, a review published in the British Medical Journal found that replacing just 5% of daily calories from saturated fat with healthier fats reduced stroke risk by nearly 20%. That's a powerful payoff from a small change. Picture this. You start your day with a buttery croissant, cook your eggs in bacon grease, and finish the evening with a creamy stew. It feels comforting, yes, but day after day, it adds up and your brain pays the price. Here's a small step you can take right now. Swap butter for olive oil when cooking. Choose leaner cuts of meat, and maybe try a meatless Monday now and then. These small shifts can protect your heart, your brain, and your future. And this is just the beginning. Because while trans fats and saturated fats are 2 of the biggest culprits, there are other fats in your kitchen that may be quietly increasing your risk for stroke, even if they look harmless at first glance. In the first part of this video, we expose the dangers of trans fats and saturated fats, 2 common culprits that can quietly raise your stroke risk and damage your brain over time. But they're not the only fats hiding in your daily meals. There are other types that sound healthier at first, but can turn against you when the balance tips too far. Let's start with one that most people assume is good for them, omega-6 fatty acids. Just hearing the name makes it sound like something essential, right? And technically it is. Omega-6s are essential fats, meaning your body truly needs them to function. But here's the catch: too much of a good thing, especially without enough omega-3s to balance them out, can stir up real trouble. Think of it like a seesaw. On one side, you've got omega-6s, on the other, omega-3s. When that balance is close, everything works beautifully. But when the omega-6 side slams down hard, leaving omega-3s dangling high in the air, the body's chemistry starts shifting toward inflammation. Where do these omega-6s hide? You'll find them in many common vegetable oils: corn oil, soybean oil, sunflower oil. And because those oils are cheap and widely available, they're everywhere in the American food system. They show up in fast food fries, bottled salad dressings, crackers, chips, baked goods, basically most processed foods that line grocery shelves. Here's the startling reality. The average American diet today has a ratio of omega-6 to omega-3 that's completely out of balance, sometimes as high as 20 to 1. Ideally, that ratio should be closer to 4 to 1, or even 2 to 1. That imbalance doesn't just stay quietly in the background. A study in the American Journal of Clinical Nutrition found that people with a higher omega-6 to omega-3 ratio had significantly more markers of inflammation and a greater risk of cardiovascular problems. And inflammation isn't just a buzzword. It's like a slow-burning fire inside your blood vessels, gradually damaging their lining, thickening the walls, and making it easier for dangerous clots to form. Over time, that silent fire paves the way for strokes, memory loss, and other brain-related issues. So, what can you do? The goal isn't to cut omega-6s completely, your body needs them, but to bring them back into balance. Start replacing those refined vegetable oils with healthier options like extra virgin olive oil or avocado oil. At the same time, add more omega-3 rich foods to your plate. Wild-caught salmon, walnuts, chia seeds, and ground flax seeds are excellent choices. By shifting the balance, you're not only cooling the fire of inflammation but also giving your brain and heart the fuel they need to thrive. Now, let's turn to another kind of fat. This one's been talked about for decades, but most people don't realize how dangerous it becomes when it changes form. I'm talking about LDL cholesterol, often labeled as bad cholesterol. Here's the part that isn't discussed nearly enough. LDL cholesterol becomes especially harmful when it gets oxidized. Think of it like metal. Clean, polished metal can last a long time, but once it rusts, it starts breaking down, corroding, and causing damage. Oxidized LDL is that rust inside your bloodstream. Instead of floating around harmlessly, it sticks to artery walls, sparks inflammation, and kicks off plaque buildup. Over time, that plaque narrows your arteries, limiting blood flow and raising your risk of both stroke and heart attack. So where does oxidized LDL come from? It's often the result of eating foods fried in reused oil, the kind you'll find in fast food restaurants or street food stands, where the oil is cooked and reheated until it turns dark and sticky. It can also come from animal fats that have been sitting in your fridge or freezer for too long, breaking down slowly until they lose their freshness. A study published in the journal Atherosclerosis found that people with higher levels of oxidized LDL had a significantly greater risk of both stroke and cognitive decline even when their overall cholesterol numbers looked normal. That's the scary part. You could have cholesterol levels within the normal range, but if too much of it is oxidized, your brain and heart are still at risk. So what can you do right now? Avoid deep-fried fast food, especially when you don't know how fresh the oil is. When you can, cook at home with fresh ingredients. And add more antioxidant-rich foods to your diet. Berries, leafy greens, green tea. These natural foods help protect LDL cholesterol from oxidizing in the first place. It's like giving your body a shield to fight off the rust before it sets in. Now, let's move to one more fat you've probably eaten this week, one that's quietly raising your stroke risk with every bite. Hydrogenated oils. These are the kinds used to make margarine, shortening, and countless processed baked goods. Manufacturers love them because they give food a longer shelf life and that perfect flaky texture. But inside your body, they're far more destructive than they look on the label. Hydrogenated oils are a major source of trans fats even when the packaging claims 0 grams. Here's the loophole. In the United States, a product can legally say 0 trans fat if it contains less than 0.5 grams per serving. That means if you eat multiple servings or snack on multiple products in a single day, those tiny amounts add up fast. And the damage is serious. These fats don't just raise your bad cholesterol, they actually lower your good cholesterol at the same time. That's a double whammy your blood vessels don't stand a chance against. With less protection and more harmful buildup, your arteries become inflamed, more prone to clots, and far more vulnerable to stroke. Research published in the journal Circulation confirmed that people with diets high in hydrogenated oils had a sharply increased risk of ischemic stroke, the type caused by blocked blood flow to the brain. Imagine it this way: every time you spread margarine on your toast, or enjoy a packaged cookie from the grocery shelf, you might be feeding your body the very fats that increase your risk of a brain clot. So, what's the solution? Choose natural spreads like avocado or nut butters. When you're buying baked goods, look for the phrase non-hydrogenated on the label. Or better yet, try making your own treats at home using whole ingredients. Not only will they taste better, but you'll know exactly what's going into your body. So far, we've uncovered 3 more culprits that can quietly harm your brain and your arteries: omega-6 fatty acids when out of balance, oxidized LDL cholesterol, and hydrogenated oils. Each of them, in different ways, stirs up inflammation, narrows your arteries, and puts your brain at risk. But we're not done yet. Because while these fats may be dangerous, there are also healthier fats, the good ones that can actively protect your brain and heart when you add them to your diet. And in the next part of this video, that's exactly what we're going to explore. Now that we've gone through the fats that can harm your brain, let's shift to something more hopeful: the fats that actually protect and nourish your brain for years to come. First on that list are omega-3 fatty acids. These are the kinds of fats your brain absolutely loves. You'll find them in fatty fish like salmon, mackerel, and sardines, as well as in plant sources such as chia seeds, flax seeds, and walnuts. Omega-3s do something remarkable inside your body. They calm inflammation, keep your blood flowing smoothly, and prevent platelets from clumping together. The result? A lower risk of the clots that can lead directly to stroke. In fact, a large study published in Stroke, the Journal of the American Heart Association, followed more than 70,000 people and found that those who regularly ate fish rich in omega-3s had a much lower risk of both ischemic and hemorrhagic stroke. But the benefits don't stop there. Omega-3s are also critical building blocks of your brain cell membranes. They help maintain flexibility, support smooth communication between brain cells, and may even slow down age-related cognitive decline. That's why diets rich in omega-3s are consistently linked with sharper memory and better overall brain function. If you're not a fan of fish, don't worry, there are plenty of plant-based options. A sprinkle of chia seeds on your oatmeal, a spoonful of ground flaxseed in your smoothie, or a handful of walnuts as an afternoon snack can all provide a healthy dose. The key is to start small and make it a habit. Maybe aim for fish twice a week, or add a tablespoon of flaxseed to your daily routine. Each of these steps gives your brain the nourishment it craves. Now let's turn to another type of fat that not only protects your brain but also helps manage cholesterol. I'm talking about monounsaturated fats. These heart-healthy, brain-friendly fats are found in foods like olive oil, avocados, almonds, and cashews. If you've ever drizzled olive oil over a salad or spread avocado on toast, you've already tasted the benefits. What makes monounsaturated fats so powerful is their effect on cholesterol. They lower LDL, the bad cholesterol that clogs arteries, and raise HDL, the good cholesterol that helps sweep LDL away. When your blood vessels stay clear and flexible, blood flows more freely to your brain. That means sharper thinking, better focus, and a reduced risk of stroke. In one long-term study published in the American Journal of Clinical Nutrition, people who ate diets rich in monounsaturated fats had significantly lower rates of stroke and memory loss over time. These aren't minor benefits, they're real, measurable protections for your brain as you age. The good news is you don't have to overhaul your entire diet overnight. Small swaps can make a big difference. Try switching from butter to extra virgin olive oil for cooking. Grab a handful of almonds instead of chips. Add a few avocado slices to your sandwich or salad. These little changes stack up over time, giving your brain and heart the support they deserve. Coming up next is another group of fats that often get overlooked: polyunsaturated fats. They don't get as much attention, but they quietly work in the background to support both your brain and your heart. You'll find polyunsaturated fats in oils like sunflower, flaxseed, and soybean oil, as well as in foods such as walnuts and sunflower seeds. The important thing to remember is that these fats are essential. Your body can't make them on its own. You have to get them from what you eat. So what makes them so valuable? Polyunsaturated fats lower total cholesterol and triglycerides, which improves heart health overall. And when your heart works better, your brain benefits too. Stronger circulation keeps oxygen and nutrients flowing exactly where they're needed most. Research published in the journal Stroke followed adults over 60 and found that those with higher intakes of polyunsaturated fats had lower risks of developing blood clots and narrowed arteries. That translates to fewer chances of stroke, better memory retention, and more mental clarity as the years go by. And the best part, they're easy to include in your meals. Drizzle flaxseed oil over steamed vegetables. Use sunflower oil for a light sauté. Sprinkle sunflower seeds or walnuts over your morning oatmeal or yogurt. These tweaks may seem small, but over time, they add up to something big: a brain that stays strong, focused, and clear. Finally, let's look at a unique type of fat you may not have heard much about: medium-chain triglycerides, or MCTs. MCTs are most commonly found in pure coconut oil, and they behave differently from the long-chain fats in most other oils. Instead of being stored as fat, MCTs are quickly converted into energy by your liver. That means your brain gets a clean, fast fuel source, helping it stay sharp, alert, and even more resilient under stress. Think of MCTs as kindling for your brain's fire. They burn clean and steady, supporting focus and clarity in a way that many other fats simply don't. So, to recap this section, we've explored omega-3 fatty acids, monounsaturated fats, polyunsaturated fats, and mix each of them, offering a different kind of support for your brain and heart. Together, they create a foundation for better memory, clearer thinking, and lower stroke risk. And we're not done yet, because in the next part of this video, we'll go even deeper into how these fats interact with your body, and I'll share some practical tips on weaving them into your daily meals in ways that feel simple, satisfying, and sustainable. So why are MCTs so unique? Unlike most fats, your body doesn't store them away for later. Instead, it converts them almost instantly into energy. That means MCTs are quickly available for your brain and your muscles, fueling you without needing to go through the long, complicated digestive process. For older adults, that's a major advantage. As we age, our metabolism naturally slows. Tasks that once felt easy start to feel heavier. But MCTs bypass much of that slowdown. They provide a clean, fast-burning fuel that your brain can rely on, almost like flipping on a light switch when the room has gone dim. Research backs this up. Studies published in Frontiers in Aging Neuroscience show that MCTs may improve cognitive function in people experiencing mild memory problems. They also help reduce oxidative stress, the internal rust that gradually damages brain cells and accelerates aging. Think of MCTs as a spark plug for your brain, keeping the engine running smoothly, especially during moments when your energy feels low or your thinking feels cloudy. So how can you bring more of them into your daily life? It doesn't take much. Try adding a teaspoon of virgin coconut oil to your morning coffee or blending it into a smoothie. You can even mix it into oatmeal for a subtle, nutty flavor. A little goes a long way. Just remember, balance is always key. Like all fats, moderation matters. Too much of anything, even something beneficial, can shift the balance in the wrong direction. Now, let's talk about a lesser-known group of fats that quietly support your brain's very structure: phospholipids. Phospholipids are literally the building blocks of your brain's cell membranes. Without them, your neurons can't stay strong, flexible, or communicate effectively. You'll find these powerful fats in egg yolks and soy-based foods like tofu, soybeans, and even soy milk. These are everyday foods you might already have in your kitchen, yet many people overlook them, or worse, throw them away. Think of phospholipids as the protective insulation on electrical wires. Without insulation, wires spark, short-circuit, and fail to carry a signal. The same goes for your neurons. As we age, the natural protective coating around brain cells can start to thin. That's when problems with memory, focus, or mood often begin to show up. But with enough phospholipids in your diet, you can help keep that protective covering strong. Research published in Nutrients highlighted that phospholipids, especially a type called phosphatidylserine, support memory, attention, and even mood in older adults. In other words, they help keep your mental gears turning smoothly well into your 70s, 80 seconds, and beyond. So instead of tossing out the yolk and eating only egg whites, consider keeping the whole egg, especially if you're choosing pasture-raised eggs, which offer even more nutrients. And if you enjoy tofu stir fries, edamame, or a glass of soy milk, you're already giving your brain an extra layer of protection. No exotic supplements required, just simple, nourishing foods that your body already understands how to use. Now that we've walked through the harmful fats to avoid and the healing fats to embrace, it's time to step back and tie everything together. Here's the truth. The choices we make in the kitchen matter far more than most people realize. What we fry, what we drizzle, what we snack on, these small, everyday decisions quietly shape the health of our brain, the strength of our memory, and even the sharpness of our focus. And you don't need to overhaul your entire diet overnight. It's not about perfection. It's about progress. Even one small shift can send your brain the message, I've got your back. Swap margarine for olive oil. Add a handful of walnuts to your day. Enjoy salmon once or twice a week. These aren't drastic changes, but they add up. Over weeks, months, and years, they protect your brain in ways you can feel. The most empowering part is this: it's never too late to start. Your brain is always adapting. It's always healing, always responding to the care you give it. And that care can begin with something as simple as what you put on your plate tonight. So if this video made you pause or think differently about the fats you eat, share it with someone you love. Let them in on the small but powerful choices that could protect not only their heart, but their mind as well. Because awareness is one of the greatest gifts you can give. And before you go, I have one final request. If you found value in this video, please tap the like button. It helps more people discover information that could change their lives. And subscribe to Senior Health Boost, where we'll continue to bring you clear, science-backed, and heartfelt guidance for living stronger, aging better, and protecting your most precious organ, your brain. You've made it all the way to the end of this video, and that says something important. It shows you care deeply about your health, your independence, and your future. Keep going. Keep making those small choices, because your brain, your heart, and your loved ones are counting on you. Take care, sleep well, and I'll see you in the next video here on Senior Health Boost.